Good morning, afternoon, or evening, guys. Today we are in the 2014 Bentley Flying Spur, the most exotic car I've ever been able to drive. And we're gonna take this on some roads. Let's head over now, and I'm really gonna explain to you guys what it is like to drive a Bentley. This car new was over $200,000. But now, you can find reasonable mileage ones for right around $70,000. This one in particular would probably go for around 75. So, that doesn't sound like a crazy amount of money. I had some people commenting like, oh, those cars are only like $100,000. Like, sir, I was unaware I was talking to a billionaire here. Seriously though, you can still feel why this car was $200,000. I mean, where do we start? Look at this interior. Quilted leather everywhere. Wood. I mean, this steering wheel is the smoothest, most satisfying thing to just turn and hold ever. Not to mention, guys, under this hood, you get a 12-cylinder, twin turbo, 616 horsepower engine. Really let that sink in for a second. Bentley is like the car brand. It's like Rolls-Royce and Lamborghini had a kid. And they came together, and you now have a fast, yet extremely luxurious driving experience. This thing has adjustable everything. Adjustable suspension. Adjustable ride height. Of course you get heated and cooled seats. It's got rear sunshades. Look at that. It's got a rear window shade, if that's what you want to call it. Maybe that's the rear sunshade. That's the rear window shade. It's got screens in the back. Airplane-style eating trays in the back. It's insane. This interior is like a mansion. Literally a mansion on wheels. Let's do a little acceleration and see how it feels. I'm going to be a little bit soft with the car because there's a check-in. Yeah, the fact that this is called a Bentley Flying Spur is well, if you remove Spur, it's the two perfect words to put together that describe this car. A flying Bentley. You know, Bentley's known for its luxurious touch, and they have a very unique space inside of the car industry. They're not Rolls-Royce because they don't put that much emphasis on luxury, but they're not a sports car necessarily because these cars weigh so much. Guess how much this car weighs? Wrong. It's 5,400 pounds. Who would have guessed that? Maybe you'd have an idea, but this is just a sedan, and it's 5,400 pounds. The gas cap cover alone weighs like 2 pounds. And I understand why. Again, this is not tailored to be a full-on luxury car, nor is it tailored to be a full-on sports car. It's both. And what's weird is that you kind of have to sacrifice some luxury to be a sports car or some sportiness to be a luxury car. But this thing's like, nah, we're gonna do a 50-50 split. And that's what you get in this car. And oh my gosh, I mean, for me personally, it's not really exactly what I would go with. Hold on, we got a little straightaway here. It is super duper fast, and you don't expect it to be one bit because of how much it weighs and how luxurious it feels. And not only that, I mean, this thing is so soft in how it rides that you actually don't realize the speed you're going. 100 miles an hour in this car feels like 30 in my car, and I am not joking when I say that. And besides, like, if we have a car that comes past us, I'll try to remember to stop talking. You barely hear it at all. It is like its own enclosed, just isolated room. Let me be quiet. Take a listen to about 45 miles an hour. Oh, here we go. Listen, listen, listen. It is nothing. It is crazy. I mean, it's any more than this might actually drive me crazy. I'm sure you guys have heard that Rolls-Royce actually ended up making their sound detonation so good that they had to add sound into the interior. Listen to those cars pass. You don't. You don't listen because you can't hear it. You can hear some wind noise, absolutely, but this is just enough. It is just perfect. This speed is just enough as well because of how much this car weighs. Going into a corner, well, this car cannot corner. Luckily, this thing does have some really good brakes. I was going to do an acceleration, but I'm wary of that being potentially a cop. Guys, one of these days, I think my luck's going to run out with how much fun we have. So I got to be a little bit more careful here. I think we're okay. That's just a regular signal. As soon as you hit 4,000 RPM, this thing starts moving. That 600 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque kick in, and it reminds you, you're not just in a luxury car. You're in a performance car. And I use that word very lightly here because, yeah, this is not something that anyone that's sane would ever bring to a track, but it absolutely is something that you hop on the interstate with and you just hit 120 with absolute ease and it feels like a regular car going 30. It's incredible. And you can, again, tailor this car to meet your own needs. So this is adjustable suspension right here. Let's move it over to more sport. And if I may complain about this infotainment system, it's the worst freaking thing I've ever used. Whether I've experimented with every soft touch, hard touch, sometimes it'll just stop working. I don't get it. Worst infotainment system I've used in my entire life. And to talk about some of the reliability things, which is a very important thing with this car, it's a Bentley. If something breaks, it's going to be very expensive. Regular maintenance will run you about $4,000 a year. The little B button is where how you open up the trunk, and when you press that, the motor isn't working for me. So there are a few, it's not a whole bunch of stuff. That check engine light that you guys may have spotted earlier is a bit concerning. That's either something that's not a big deal, or it's well, if it was blinking, then it's $30,000, but it's not. If you read reports online, people will say they're extremely reliable, but I'm not really getting a sense of that at all. It's not like very concerning, but if this was my car, I would be pretty worried about what's going on. But back to the point of what it's like to drive a Bentley. You're just basically in a car that can hit extremely high speeds with absolute ease and do it with absolutely no concern whatsoever at all. And okay, yes, you get that 12-cylinder twin turbo engine up there, right? How does the exhaust sound? Well, let's do another poll and really pay attention to how this thing sounds. That's not a cop, right? So, when you listen to it, it's a very muffled sound. That's the point of this car. It's not supposed to be a screaming V12 that would ruin the purpose of where Bentley is marketed at in the industry. But it is a very high quality muffled sound, which is super cool about this car. In my review of this, I rated this, or if it's going to be, I think it's going to be uploaded after I do this POV, I'm going to rate the sound as like a B. Because, sure, it's not super exciting, but you just know that it's very, very high quality. And you got to consider this car where it's supposed to be segmented in the industry. I'm not comparing this to a Lamborghini V12. That would make absolutely no sense. And, oh man, you know, I would love to drive this home from work after like an 8-hour, 12-hour shift. This would just bring pure bliss, especially if it was self-driving. Would I even want it to be self-driving? Yes, I would want it to be self-driving, because I'd probably, well, you can't hop in the back seat in a self-driving car, but if you could, that's where I would be 24/7. Because you can just eat your food on the tray back there. You can just lounge back there. It's incredible. You have your own little removable touchscreen device where you can control everything on the car. It's insane. This thing is meant to be, it's meant to have a chauffeur driving it, like absolutely undoubtedly. You're supposed to be in the backseat of this car, especially because if you buy this, you probably are that rich to have a chauffeur on call 24/7. But I like driving. You know, my channel name is Professor Draws. I like driving. I would rather drive than be driven. Maybe my answer will change if I'm ever a multi-millionaire and I'm like 50, 60 years old, which will happen, by the way. Don't care what anyone says. That's my goal. Millionaire by 30. No joke. How am I going to get there? I don't know. Maybe a sales job. We'll see. But driving this thing makes me feel like I'm already there. Except, again, if anything happens to this car, then that sets me back about 3 decades in my financial life. But this thing, you know, I've driven a Mercedes GLE 350, and I might do a review on that car. But this thing makes you realize how much more room there is for improvement on top of a Mercedes. Like, you think a Mercedes is like an awesome, luxurious driving experience, but then there's Bentley, then there's Rolls-Royce. It's like Rolls-Royce is top of the line for luxurious driving. But I cannot fathom it getting any better than this. I said that with the Mercedes when I drove that too, but seriously, like, it feels like we're floating. You can barely hear anything on the outside, just a tad. You know, it's noticeable, but it's not that bad. And I don't believe Rolls-Royces, especially in 2014, came with over 600 horsepower. You know, you got to be very, very careful to know what's ahead of you, because this thing can't corner well. It does have good brakes, very, very meaty calipers, 6-piston in the front, 4 in the back. But still, it doesn't matter. If you go more over the speed limit, like 10, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit into a corner, that's not going to be comfortable for you or the car. And by the way, you notice that this interior is definitely on the outdated side. I guess you could say that, but it's not like that bad. I mean, come on. It's really just about the materials and the presentation. The screens in here, like I said, the infotainment system absolutely sucks. Like, it's literally not even working anymore. It'll work and then not work, work and then not work. But that's not what this car is about. It's about the classiness, the gentleman's type of presentation. Like these little air vents. I could just sit here and pull these probably for 24 hours straight and not get bored. Should that be a video? Me just pulling this back and forth for 24 hours straight? Because I think I'd actually enjoy making that. And if you're wondering, this just adjusts the airflow by closing and opening a vent inside of the air vent. Like, what a satisfying way to do that. Bentleys have been known to have this. If you ever see this in a car, assume it's a Bentley. And by the way, real quick, we haven't touched on the exterior design yet, which is kind of an important factor here. Look at this. What do you guys think? First of all, the front end is gorgeous. That is the main giveaway of a Bentley for me. It's like a chandelier type of design in the front. The side of this car, you kind of have to know what you're looking at in order to know it's special. You have some nice trim along the windowsills and a little vent and logo on the side of the car, but that's really about it. In the back, sure, yes, the back does have some unique touches. You get oval-shaped brake lights, and you get an oval-shaped dual-tip exhaust system, and a Bentley logo in the back. But other than that, again, you kind of have to get close or just know the oval shape to know that it's a Bentley. So other than the front, I think this car is very, very undercover, which, to the point of it, this thing is not supposed to be an eye-catcher, neck-breaker type of supercar. It's meant to be, you're the CEO of a company, your chauffeur's taking you to a board meeting, you sit in the back and you don't want people to look at you, you just want to have a luxurious experience. So to me, this car does not have a $200,000 exterior. It maybe has like an $80,000 exterior, which, funny enough, that's what this car is now valued at in 2024. So I guess it's a good exterior for that point. And it's just very classy, but it's not, yeah, I mean, I'm more of like a neck breaker type of supercar looking exterior. This just doesn't have it. But the interior, I have never, ever, ever in my life seen something this cool. Sure, on YouTube I have, but in person, it is just as cool as it looks on this video. Like, look at the pattern inside of this leather. I kind of need to look at the road. But it's so unbelievably detailed. I mean, even the things inside of places you wouldn't think to even look have materials that are ultra luxurious. In the back, when you pull down the little compartment with your cup holders and stuff, and then you pull down the other leather strap, the access to your trunk, which has a key, has a strap that's leather. No matter where you look in this car, it is just amazing materials. The only place I was able to spot something that's not nice is this ignition thing. the wrap around here is plastic, but that is the only plastic. Oh, unless, hey, the headlight control's plastic. I did not spot that earlier. That I believe is literally it. Maybe this too, maybe this too. Okay, they do such a good job at hiding it. It's like there's trim around here, there's trim around everything, trim around the gauge cluster. It's so well put together, and very, very little noise when you go over bumps. There's just a slight little creaking sound in the back, which maybe could be fixed, but other than that, everything in here is just phenomenal build quality, and it feels so nice. Again, the most luxurious steering wheel I've ever touched or held. It feels like just a super yacht when you just swerve and drive it. It's so smooth. And it's, yeah, totally detached from being a sports car, because a sports car, you want feedback, a lot of feedback, but in this one, you don't get it. You do get feedback when you brake hard. I noticed that. I did a 60-0 test in this car, and the brake was like, which this car is not supposed to be doing that. It's supposed to just waft through the roads and the streets, take you to your destination, and arrive safely, comfortably, and safely. If anyone crashes into you, they're basically crashing into a block of titanium. I assume whatever car crashes into this would get way more messed up than this car would. All right, we're back in action. My battery died, so sorry, let's do it quick. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's just not scary because of how smooth it is. But as I was saying, with this car weighing 5,400 pounds, like, if that makes this a safe vehicle. And to put some perspective on that, 5,400 pounds is heavier than almost every single SUV on the road. This is a sedan. Mind you, yes, it's very big, it's very, very long. It's just all of these heavy materials that are used in here, with the gas cap cover probably taking up like 1% of the weight of this car. Like, everything is just heavy, heavy, heavy in order to give you that luxury experience and make this thing just feel like it's floating and so quiet in this interior. Let's do another pull real quick. Yeah, it is awesome, really awesome. So yeah, I personally like cars that are more of a scary, sort of harsh acceleration. This one is the exact opposite of that. Like, it accelerates fast, but it's just not rowdy. And so, depends on your own taste. I can see why this is more of an older person's car, because you're just not like immature like me and like to just be on the verge of like dying. You like to just get home safely and quickly and luxurious, which I totally understand the market for that. Again, if I was just cruising, if I was on a 5-hour road trip, out of every other car I've ever reviewed so far on this channel, this would be my very first go-to. And if speed limits didn't exist, you could comfortably get to your destination in probably a quarter of the amount of time. More comfortably than a regular car going at full speed. I don't know if that made sense, but I hope it did. Absolutely awesome. And by the way, guys, oh, here we got some bumps there, but again, like, it's so, like, if I did that in any other car reviewed on the channel, it'd be like, oh gosh, like, oh my gosh, but this one is just like boop, 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 and that's it. As I was saying though, this has some of the weirdest, I don't know, weird or unique, which word? I'll choose unique because it's a Bentley. These paddle shifters are like wings. These black sticks that go all the way out here. You just push them. Those are your paddle shifters, and they kind of get in the way of the turn signal and windshield wiper, but that just takes a little bit of getting used to. So it's not really a complaint, it's just strange. The infotainment system is a complaint. Check engine light's a complaint, and the trunk motor not exactly working is a complaint. And this thing only has 37,000 miles on it, which I don't know. Again, even though if you had to fix all of those things, you're still not even going to be close to spending $200,000. So the fact that you can pick this car up for 70, 80 is still a pretty good deal. I assume for a lot of younger people, this is really not going to be appealing to them per se, because for $70,000-$80,000 you're also looking at like a new G80 M3 competition, or I don't know, a C7 Z06 or a C8 Corvette. So I imagine that's going to be more appealing to people that are, you know, like 20s, 30s. I don't know, maybe some of you guys, this thing might be pretty cool to you. This is a car where you don't really care what other people think. This is just about your own personal comfort driving experience, or being driven experience, which is probably more than half the people that actually own this car. Man, I mean, I don't know, maybe if I grew up, when I grow up a little bit and I'm more mature, this is a car I would look at. I at least would want to have something rowdy like an Audi R8 or a Corvette or something in my garage. But if I had an option to get a second car, this as a daily would be freaking insane. Like this is the daily car. It's very practical too. So much room in here, a massive trunk. Yeah, that's what this car is, the ultimate daily car. And vroom, vroom. 4,000 picks up. Yeah, when you go from a stop, it's not exciting. But when you're at 4K and you floor it, it's exciting. Let's do a roll. Yeah, it is seriously quick. And you guys can see from the speedometer. And don't forget, it's 5,400 pounds, and that 616 horsepower W12 Twin Turbo engine definitely makes this weight feel not so heavy when you're just going in a straight line. So guys, to wrap this up, what do you think? I want to know your thoughts about this. Is this a car you would consider buying? It's so different from every other car we've put on this channel, but it's different in a good way. It's still sporty, I guess, just because of the horsepower, but not sporty in terms of like throwing it around and like hearing that exhaust scream. It's just, Bentley is a very cool car company. It's the perfect 50-50 split with luxury and sportiness. I really do like this. So thank you guys, and I owe this to you guys. I'm starting to realize who the regular viewers are. I love you. Thank you for helping support this channel. I need it, trust me. My bank is not looking very good. I'm probably gonna get sued soon. These videos are like, yeah, very expensive to make, but hopefully you guys are enjoying these. And I don't know, this is my passion. I hope one day this could be like a thing that we do every day. That would be awesome. I still have a job in my own business to help try and support this channel. I'm gonna turn in here. And that's gonna be a wrap, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this driving experience, and let me know if you think this is a place to put $70,000. Love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.